walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We're here for the weekly review show, and it's gonna be slightly different because normally we would have, like, you know, all of the stuff for you to be looking at, all 10 games and just all of that. But something happened yesterday at Old Trafford that is going to dominate the whole show. Manchester United lost 5-0 to Liverpool. So we're not even going to do a team of the week. We're not going to do forward of the week because we know that's Liverpool because they should have won by more than 5. That second half performance was a fucking disgrace. I'm just going to chuck that out there now. Jurgen and his team should be utterly embarrassed by themselves how they came out in that second half. You could have made the greatest day for everyone, barring United fans, but you didn't. So for that, unacceptable behaviour, really. But obviously, there is news coming out that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be sacked, and I think that is the worst kept secret in the world of football. I do think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be fired. He will lose his job. They're deciding whether it will be, you know, today, over the next few days. They've got a week now to prepare for Tottenham. So they're going to. I don't think Ollie's at the wheel, mate. I think Ollie has been removed from the wheel. The bus is now being driven by nobody. That bus needs a new person to take over that wheel quite fucking quickly. Because they're
Carrick at the wheel, bro.
I don't. The thing is, and we'll
someone at the
discuss
top
this.
of the bus going like that. There's no wheel.
We'll discuss this further, but I don't think Ollie should be the only one fired, right? I think you should sack Ollie and the entire coaching team, barring the one you brought in the summer. So Carrick, McKenna, Thiel and Ollie, all of them need to be sacked. Not just one, the lot of them. Literally boot them all out because I think that's part of the problem. But we'll discuss that further. Wolf says Ollie isn't sacked, no Spider-Man. No Way Home trailer. Disappointing day so far for me. I hear that. Mustafa thinks Ollie's already been fired. I have heard that Ollie has been sacked already. There'll be news out tomorrow morning. I think it'll be tonight. I think they'll put it out. They'll leak it out tonight. I say that because there's zero news on the board preparing to sack him. Trust me, that there is. Lanzi says, laughing my ass off, it's Fletcher till the end of the season. No, the only way Fletcher takes charge of United is probably over the next couple of games. So if Manchester United haven't sorted out who they want as manager, Fletcher will lead United out for the next 3 games. They're not going to hire Fletcher full time. He's already got a job at United, but he is the most likely to take the temporary source. I'm smart, okay, job. Love it. That sauce is a good one, though. That is pretty good sauce.
I've seen someone
Niall,
put a cheese butty. I've seen someone put ketchup on tomato sauce on a cheese butty before. And
Jesus Christ!
It was absolutely vile. I genuinely, if he's watching it now, Ryan, you are absolutely vile.
That is vile.
Just putting that out there, like.
Niall, do I get Jensen Button or Wasberg for my F1 career mode team? Oh, Button. Jensen Button every day. That's not quite true, but Ollie is getting the backing Ollie's got is from the core English group, so the likes of Maguire, because he knows any other managers dropping his ass quite quickly. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka's quite keen on Ollie as well because he also knows his job's at risk with another manager. He might be safe until January and then he's fucked.
Wan-Bissaka will stay in the side, I think.
Wan-Bissaka is shit, mate. You might as well just recall Brandon Williams and get Brandon Williams back to play right back at United.
I don't think he's shit. I think he definitely shows quality on his day.
Basically, Wan-Bissaka isn't just shit. He is 5,000 cows worth of ass shit. Literally, you could just get a cow to shit in a farm, and that is Wan-Bissaka's general football play. He is shocking. Get him, Fred. Fred, get him. You guys see that, though? I don't see that. Curious to see if a manager can change Man U. It will. Depends on who.
Same.
But
I'm curious as well. I'm very curious.
I think we all are. But we'll start with what happened yesterday, shall we? So obviously, we all topped up at 4:30, and then kickoff happened, and for the first 6 minutes, Manchester United were fantastic. And when I say fantastic, they hadn't conceded. And then Liverpool started turning up the gears. Kenny, first, I'll go to you. Getting pummeled 5-0 at Old Trafford. Were you at the game for starters?
No, I'm isolated, thankfully. I would have gone if I wasn't isolating. This is the one time I like that I'm isolating.
So Kenny's quite happy that he had coronavirus for the first time ever. But Kenny, talk to me about that, because look, you can accept a loss. You can losing to Liverpool is not it's terrible, but it's not embarrassing. But to lose 5-0 to Liverpool now, that is embarrassing, especially considering in the second half they decided to just, I don't know what they were doing. They were just passing it around between each other, trying to have. They were toying with you essentially.
Embarrassing.
What
Kenny,
was your
embarrassing?
What was more embarrassing is your front three. How they didn't score more goals, fucking unbelievable. Embarrassing, a lot of them apart from Salah, because he got me well good FPL points. But Kenny, talk to me.
We showed there's no structure in that team. We just completely showed there was no marking for bloody. We didn't for the first goal. Yeah, Keita's just there completely. This Wan-Bissaka's just on another planet probably. He may well has been. I think it was bloody next to. It wasn't even next to anyone. It was on the bloody right side. Yeah, not next to anyone. Keita's free, unmarked. Boom! It's 1-0. Wan-Bissaka needs to get out of my football club. He is actually a terrorist. I said before and I'll say it again. His brother is Osama bin Laden for a reason. They are brothers for a reason. He's Osama bin Laden, yeah.
He's still your player though, lads.
It's okay.
I don't know what happens at Man United, but even if I really think the player is shambolic.
Man U players, Man U fans don't do the whole "you'll never walk alone" crap stuff.
No, it's not even "you'll never walk alone." It's just sticking up for your players who are playing for you.
Teddy has on multiple occasions just called out Wan-Bissaka a terrorist, and his brother is Osama bin Laden, which is absolutely fantastic.
I mean, I'm sticking up for your own defender here. Do you know what I mean? This is me like completely.
I said a lot of things about Argyle's defence last season, but I don't ever think I said that they were terrorists and compared them to Osama bin Laden. But we move.
Hey, same here. We had a defence for about 6 months, but
moving away from the whole, terrorist and all of that, and Aaron bin Laden crap. Talk to me about the team's performance, because talk to me about the first half. Let's split it up. Talk to me about the first half.
Listen, the first half. Once they scored their third, was just it was awful anyway. But once they scored their third, we just fell apart. No attacks, no nothing. But Bruno early on missed a chance, and it was one of I don't know. They're probably all Ollie out. Honestly, they're probably all Ollie out. I reckon they're probably all Ollie out because that was a disgraceful miss. Then Liverpool they take their chances. They were clinical, and then they just dominated from there. They took their first 2 chances that they had, clinical. Something that's not us, and then they just dominated from there. We had a disgraceful performance in defence and midfield. And honestly, I say if we didn't have McFred playing, we would have probably lost about 19-0 because say what you want about McFred, honestly, it's probably our best pivot right now. And that is with chest. It's probably our best pivot. Because honestly, it's got to a point where McFred is our best pivot. Scott McTominay and Fred is our best pivot right now. And not in terms of ability, but in terms of teamwork, it's our best pivot. And it's such a bad pivot. We're so awful in the midfield. I mean, we got dominated by Keita and James Milner until James Milner came off. Once James Milner came off for Liverpool, they weren't that good anymore. Because the time James Milner was on it, they were actually really good. And then once he came off, they only scored 2 goals. I know my midfield.
You do realise that they could have easily scored more if they even bothered.
They should have scored more. Honestly, I think the reason that they just stopped was because Klopp said, "Right, lads, you're doing well, but we want to keep Ollie in a job. Remember, so just keep it down, minimalize damage." Yeah, you know, Ollie's half-time team talk apparently was to keep a clean sheet in the second half.
It's the whole plan.
Yeah, we'll get into the second half. Let's read some comments. Kenny, I don't want to sound like an SJW, but that was a disgusting comment. Hashtag cancel Kenny.
There we go.
Wolf, I'm replacing the bold forward. Kenny wishing Bad's playing FIFA. Harry the Fridge Maguire again. This guy is getting on my last nerves. He's not already done them. Matic and Donny are best pivot, you knobhead. You know what? I can sort of understand Mustafa there because I think it's the you knobhead that really, really does it there. Kenny's the type of person to sit on the table and eat from the chair. Kenny is getting roasted.
Zidane in, yes, this guy.
He did that once. So is there any other good
no,
comments?
I didn't do that once. I haven't done that once.
Some lady in the stands was screaming for Fred to fight Konate. That would have been hilarious. But Paul, let's talk about the first half on the other side. So we've got the more than depressed Kenny who is struggling to even survive right now. But you on the other hand, not a bad first half, was it?
I mean, could have scored 3 more, 4 more, 5 more. Could have shot in the centre circle if we wanted to, but I mean, no. On a serious note, to be fair, the first 10 minutes until we scored our first, it was fairly even. I thought United had a few chances, even when we went 1-0, 2-0 up, but past 2-0, past 3-0, they just capitulated to us. It was pure lamb to the slaughter. Honestly, it was. I think it was must have been the 3rd or the 4th, and there's absolutely no communication between Maguire and Luke Shaw at all, at all for a Premier League, Champions League defense like that. It's not on. It really is none. And if I was a Man United fan, I'd be absolutely that'd probably be my pinpoint of the game. That it's just absolutely. I'm glad. I just thought it was a brilliant performance. We just absolutely ran them ragged from first minute to the end. I don't think there's much more to say. Everyone has a good game. Salah, Mane, Firmino, Keita. I thought Keita had a great game. Thought Milner had a good game before he came off. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alisson kept Ronaldo out. I think the first 20 minutes, and then obviously that disallowed goal from Ronaldo was a piece of quality, definitely. And we were I think it just rubbed salt into the wounds of United when that got disallowed. But what a night! I cannot ask for more. Up the Reds.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Obviously Kenny is back. He didn't want to hear that. Oh shit! There's Kenny. There is a Kenny on the mask.
What?
Zidane, fight me, you French forward. You got carried by Ronaldo at Madrid.
No,
Okey-dokey.
Oh, bloody hell.
I can't stop thinking about what is Yusuf Headfred had of scoring in that first attack. I'm confused. People question me when I said Ronaldo is self-absurd dick. Say Messi is worse. Messi doesn't kick people when they're down.
Well,
I wonder what that could be. I wonder what that could be. We'll talk about that. Is Ollie sacked yet? Not yet. We are expecting you soon. Oh shit! I'm gonna get sacked, which means I am never gonna have a threesome with my Fed again.
It's Twitter. I feel like I've just stepped from YouTube to football Twitter in like 5 seconds.
Well, welcome to our audience. This is actually being streamed on Twitter, but those are YouTube comments.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Zidane wasn't carried. He literally won La Liga without Ronaldo. Right, so let's do the sentence. I can't stop thinking, what if Yusuf Headfred had have scored that first attack? Yeah, ifs and buts are a great thing. Valve, they're going to confirm it in the morning. Ronaldo isn't cool. He has a mentality. Remember, guys, I called Antonio outscoring Ronaldo. Zidane is an underrated manager. But we'll talk about... Now, did Ronaldo... Yeah, Ronaldo kicked Curtis Jones in the ball directly into his, privates in the first half. Now, I think that as a former referee, that is as clear a red card as you're going to get. Also, as a man, you don't kick a man in that area. Like, they are just simple rules. That area is a no kicking zone because, it fucking hurts. I don't know if you've ever accidentally been kicked in the bollocks, but it fucking hurts.
I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's like it's a no kicking area. You don't kick a man in that in that area. So, Paul, I'll start with you. Seeing that, should Ronaldo have been sent off in the first half?
It looked as if his head fell off a bit there. It looked a lot like he looked very frustrated in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, to be diplomatic, to be as fair as possible. I don't know whether it should have been a red card, but a yellow card was definitely deserved.
Unbelievable, that comment.
Fuck off. He was proven innocent, by the way. There was no evidence.
Yeah, but that comment,
it's still going on, I think. I think it's still actually going on, Kenny.
Lancey has just won the award for the best comment this week already. But no, sorry, carry on.
Got a better touch than Adam Johnson. No, yeah, it's frustration. I don't know. I think a straight red would have been a bit harsh. I thought a yellow card definitely deserved. That was frustration. Yeah. That was just frustration. I was fuming when I saw that. But obviously in the moment you're like, send them off, because you're like,
using that.
Do you know what I mean? But it's a definite yellow card. I don't know whether it's a red card.
Of frustration. If I was the 2-foot Van Dijk, but I'm frustrated, is that okay?
Well, no, that's a straight red. If you're 2-footing, someone freaking 2-footed them last year. Talking to you, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah, Pickford normally watches our stuff. He's a regular in the comments.
I hope he is tonight.
Nah, who was it? Someone was like, I was doing a Formula 1 watch along, and someone was like, "Have you got Ronaldo? Have you got Ronaldo coming on?" I was like, "It's tough getting Ronaldo on these types of shows. We're looking for Brandon Williams first. We're going to set our sights a little lower and then work our way to Cristiano." But Kenny, Ronaldo, should he have been sent off for kicking Curtis Jones in the no-go area? Well, maybe not for him, but for
Sorry, just
most
before
of
you
them.
go, Kenny. Sorry, just before you have your say about him kicking it in his balls. It's whether it's whether he intends to just like try and get out of his of his enclosed body space, or he's literally just lashing out. If it's lashing out, then yeah, could be a potential
Yeah.
red. But if he's genuinely, you can't really tell in that moment, can you? You can't
Yeah.
really, you can't get into his head.
No, but
But
not actually.
I think it's all about the intention as well.
I can. In his head, he's probably like, "Fuck Ole Gunnar Solskjaer." But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's one of them. But Kenny, should your player have seen red yesterday? I mean, we'll talk about the other guy who did see red, but should United have been down to 10 before the halftime break?
I mean, honestly, I would have wanted to, just so Ole would have been guaranteed sacked. But I think that it's tough, you know. I think it's tough because he does end up, he does kick the ball and it does go into his.
No-go area. You can call it the no-go area.
I'm gonna say it's a red. I think it should have been a red. And honestly, I really did want it to be a red at the time, just because we were already like 3-0 down, weren't we? I wanted Ollie to be sacked, so I wanted us to just be really bad, just so Ollie would be sacked at that point.
Well, you actually played better with 10 men. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, to prevent that was when Paul Pogba went off, and he's invisible.
I told you Pickford is irregular. He put, Paul, I injured Virgil van Dijk. You mad? Let's fucking have it. I told you Pickford was irregular. Okay, Wolf
Fair play.
Wolf has completely lost his head. I changed my mind. Ollie in. Ollie is on the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? Okay, so Wolf has completely lost his mind.
Mystic Wolf is what he's called right now.
Do you know what? I thought we suppressed Ronaldo quite well yesterday. I mean that disallowed goal was that was a piece of brilliant. But no. I mean Ronaldo's.
It wasn't difficult considering we had literally.
No, well, I know. I just when you're playing against a player like that, who can turn a game like that on his head. Obviously, yesterday it didn't matter as much, but I think that's a pinpoint of the game that hasn't really been like spoken about. It's the 5-0 at Old Trafford has been spoken about, but rightly so. But I think we done well to suppress him. Apart from that disallowed goal, and that was a really nice goal, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, no, I hear that. I want to talk about just before Ollie got to the tunnel, right? Because there was. You could tell that they're obviously you're 4-0 down. It's not gone quite to plan. Now, I obviously being eagle-eyed and watching the game intently, noticed that obviously Mason Greenwood obviously is currently on the receiving end of a 4-0 battering at Old Trafford. He's walking down the pitch and obviously he's near the tunnel. Demoralised, deflated, hurt him probably, the lot of it. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walked straight up to him. You could tell he had spotted Greenwood a mile away because you could just. Ollie started picking up the pace walking down the touchline. He puts his arm around Greenwood and basically ushers him down the tunnel quickly. Is that the sort of man management that Ollie will be known for? Obviously, we all know that Ollie tactically is a useless pile of crap, but is that man management similar to what I could imagine Jurgen Klopp doing if Curtis Jones was walking down, he's getting battered 4-0. It's the type of sort of man management I can expect to see from Jurgen Klopp in that situation. Kenny, I'll start with you. Is that the sort of man management that Ollie will be known for when he does leave United? Because obviously, Mason Greenwood's only 20. He's currently on the battering of a 4-0 disgraceful battering from Liverpool. And arguably, he had been your best player, right? There's not many who could say that they've been fairly good, but Greenwood was showing you elements and moments that he could probably get you back into the game. Do you think it was at that point that was the man management that Ollie will be known for, that we've seen multiple times that that care he does have for the boys and the players. Do you think that will be what he'll be known for? Because I thought, he got a lot wrong that day, but I thought that was expertly dealt with by him.
I think with Ollie, I think his man management's always been his best attribute, and that was always why a lot of people took us a while to become Ollie out, including myself, because his man management is, you can't deny it. It is very, very good. I think that's the one thing in his game that you can really say he's done a good job there. And I think that obviously to like Greenwood, to a player who didn't play badly and was just really, really starved of the ball, really. Because honestly, our midfield of McFred was not going to get the ball to him, or Rashford, or Ronaldo. And the few times he did, he looked okay. And the few times he did, we actually looked okay in attack. Yeah, I think that's the one thing Ollie can do. But obviously, it's everything else that really.
Well, yeah.
But I think he will be remembered for that, and he will be remembered for his good man management, and he should be.
I just thought that really summarised Ollie at Manchester United. You're getting pummeled 4-0 by your biggest rivals, and the first thing he does is he picks up one of your young players and is making sure he's okay. I mean, that, as I say, that's the sort of attribute I'd expect from Jurgen Klopp. Less so Pep, because I think Pep is more of a dickhead. I think one of the assistants would be doing that job. But no, I did think that sort of symbolised everything that Ollie's about. Paul, what about you? Obviously, in that moment, he's walking down the touchline. He spotted one of the young players. And Mason Greenwood, we do forget he's only fucking 20, right? That's, in the world of football, that's still baby years. We're talking, that's baby years. There's a lot more experience of, 28, 29 years old. So he's still a very raw young player. Do you think that was the bit that summarised Ollie's career at United? He's getting pummeled 4-0, tactically outclassed by a better manager. And the first thing he does is he's ushering the young player down the tunnel. Because let's not forget, Old Trafford was not a nice place to be, especially in a red shirt yesterday.
Apart from Liverpool fans, like.
Exactly, but there was 74,000 United fans who weren't too happy with what they were seeing. But did that symbolise what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is about? Getting outdone by Jurgen, losing 4-0. First thing he does is man management's in play, ushering Greenwood down the tunnel, clearly making sure he's okay, because Greenwood looked deflated.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, it just froze a bit. I mean, it's debatable. I think man management. He is better at man management than he is tactically. But I think man managers are it's very powerful, and in a way, it's as important as being like tactically astute. Look at the likes of Claudio Ranieri, the likes of Jurgen Klopp, Alex Ferguson, prime example. They were masters, or they are masters of man management, and the drive and the message of collective effort that they got out of their team was monumental. But if like the other way around, it just doesn't work. You might have a tactically astute team, but if your manager's terrible at dealing with his players, then sometimes it can't work. You've got to have high morale going onto the field all the time, and I think it's in terms of Greenwood's perspective, it's a really important thing. Those little things really help you, and they get you along the way in your career. You need that arm around you sometimes. See you later, Wolf. As I say, you need that arm around you sometimes. It's so hard, and especially at 20 years old, you see people getting into the ring even earlier, and it's the amount of pressure, and they're always under the spotlight. It's good that someone's there to just.
Well, this poor lad's been under a spotlight at Old Trafford for the last 2.5 years, maybe even 3 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
He was starting to get on the bench under Jose. I mean, he was 17 at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure he started training with
Sev-
him.
17 is like not even an adult. It's just it's fresh
Yeah.
out of school.
Like
17.
he made his debut at United as a 17-year-old teenager. Like that is the level of Mason Greenwood we're talking about. I mean, he made his debut at Manchester United.
At Manchester United as well.
Yeah, at Manchester United, arguably the biggest club in the world, and probably the most under pressure club at the moment.
Who was it under? What manager?
He started getting on the bench under Jose. Ollie gave him his debut. So clearly there is a connection between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Mason Greenwood that will, no matter what Mason does in his career, he'll remember that, look, Ollie gave him his debut. He'll also remember Jose was the one who put him on the bench and started integrating him in. But there is going to be that connection. Briefly talking, the second half, there didn't be much to talk about. Salah got his goal, then Liverpool played tiki-taka for the rest of the game. And when I say tiki-taka, they just stopped United having the ball and was like, we'll take 5-0. For the people wondering, the link is in the chat for anyone who wants to come on and have their say. But, Paul, that second half, that was just too easy, wasn't it? I mean, the red card was bad enough, but it was just too easy for you.
Yeah, it was just there was no fight back at all, and it's as a neutral really, God, I don't want to say it's disappointing because it isn't for the Liverpool fan, but I mean for a neutral from the Man United, like the Man United of old, the glorious Man United who've dominated the Premier League for like arguably 2 decades. It's just it's sad. It must be sad to see from that perspective. Just like no fight back at all, just total utter capitulation. But then a Liverpool fan absolutely up the Reds, absolutely done them in. Do you know what I mean? There's two perspectives there. That's Jekyll and Hyde in my brain.
Yeah, no, you are right. I mean, it was just a capitulation from United and Pogba summarised it, but mate, I was about to call Kenny Mason. But before I bring in Velvishwan, who's in the back, Kenny, that second half, any thoughts on that? Do you want to talk about Pogba red card, or should we just move that along?
I am going to talk about Pogba's red card. I'm going to talk about his face. He was walking down the tunnel, and he started smiling while walking down the tunnel. He knew what he was doing. And honestly, I'm really angry that Liverpool didn't get another goal because that would have secured Ole would be sacked already. But no, he's not sacked yet, and he probably will be sacked tonight. But just more goals would just secured it and put me so much calmer knowing Ole would be sacked. Honestly, I was very angry when Liverpool just passing around, not doing anything. We weren't doing anything, and then Pogba's red card. It was a red card, quite clearly. And I mean, he's on the out. He was smiling. During.
No, I agree. Caught Offside tweeted about 15 minutes ago, saying there has been ongoing discussions between Manchester United and Zinedine Zidane and his agent for the last couple of weeks. The Frenchman arrived in England last week. Now, England is hardly a holiday destination. Let's get that straight away, shall we? Not many people think, fuck it, especially Zinedine Zidane, isn't going to be like, do you know what? I'd love to go to England for my holiday. What a lovely idea. Let's go to Cornwall, go get an ice cream and then go fishing. Don't think that's London, well, okay, that's even worse. I don't really fancy going to London and getting stabbed. And let's not be real, the North isn't exactly, Madrid. It's not exactly the nicest place in the world. It's passionate, but it's not exactly a holiday destination. Not many people go, I'm going Manchester for me holidays, sorted. No.
No, Zachary. No. I'm not a wanker.
Right, Vels, this one.
As an American,
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
Key to England, not London. Well, yeah, London is London is a sad sight.
Why?
No, we all know that the best holiday destination in the UK is probably somewhere in the southwest. It's probably it's certainly the most scenic.
Wales are very good shout as well. Like North
that's why I
Wales,
said
a lot of people.
That's why I said southwest, Wales. Yeah,
Not in northwest for us. Like, I mean, where I'm based, though, it's more like Scousers, like around May, June, and it's not even Scousers. It's just people from the northwest.
Cool.
Like, it's like a mass pilgrimage to like your local Butlins or Pontons or Holiday Park.
Yeah. No, you are right, but let's talk about Zidane. Paul, if Zidane is in England, what do you reckon it could be for? Because let's face it, the Ollie being sacked, the writing's been on the wall for quite some time now. I mean, we knew this day was coming. Do you reckon he's here for ice cream, a 99 flake, and just chilling with his family, or do you reckon he could be here for business?
£1, 2 wings and chips.
Let's face it, the only big club that is looking for a manager at the moment is Manchester United. Do you reckon Zinedine Zidane could be at Old Trafford?
I mean, yeah, as you say, he's not here for the Mr. Whippy and to meet the Queen. do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's much to say. There probably has been talks, yeah. Like, why wouldn't they talk to him if he's available?
Why would he be in England?
What else could he be in England for? Like you just come.
Just come to see the scenery of the northwest.
Yeah, come to see the lovely M6.
Yeah, the fucking. There can't be too many reasons. Velvishwan, before I go to Kenny on this one, Zinedine Zidane, arguably one of the better fits for the United job. If you look at all the names mentioned, Conte, Zidane, Ten Hag, Steve Bruce. I would argue that Steve Bruce is definitely not an option. I don't think United are going down that route. So you got Ten Hag, Conte, Zidane. Is Zidane one of the better fits for the United job? I think Conte is probably the worst fit. Ten Hag is the best fit. Zidane is the one that you go, yeah, that's a decent one.
I think Zidane gets the best out of like a limited squad. Like
limited squad? Are you fucking joking me?
Limited squad.
Have you seen that attack? I mean, you've got Edison Cavani, Cristiano Ronaldo, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Donny van der Beek. Do I need to go on?
Mason Greenwood, don't forget.
No, he'll give like the best out.
Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof.
Okay. We move away from a defensive
Phil
side
Jones.
Of things, well, you got Raphael Varane. You got if you think Varane,
he's actually have you.
And Shaw Tellez, boom, Marie.
Yeah, I mean it's hardly limited. There is a lot of talent there. They just don't really know the best way to use that.
I love how that's a Liverpool fan as well. Limited squad.
Yeah, I mean,
you got nothing. If Salah got injured, you're finished.
Jota.
Kenny.
Shot for me and Mane.
No. Paul. Paul, let's not get it twisted, mate. You lose Salah and you have lost a shit ton of goals. I'm not even joking.
But that doesn't mean absolute capitulation of top four like last season.
But you could argue
at the end of the day, you can't rely on one player. It's a collective effort.
No,
I understand what you're saying, yeah, but I mean,
you could certainly say that their capitulation might be quite close if you were to lose Salah. I mean, there's not many players, and the thing with Salah is there's not many players who you can say are in their pomp, like their absolute prime, and Salah is literally in his absolute prime. There's nobody better on this planet than Mo Salah. But Velvishwan, Zinedine Zidane with not a limited squad, with one of the best squads in the country, just needing to add a little bit more talent in there. Unbelievable to say that, but Ollie has clearly had a fetish for attacking players and has gone, Yeah, that back line, yeah, that's fine. That midfield, yeah, we can work with that. A new manager is obviously going to come in and look, right back need to work on. Yeah, another centre back with Varane because Maguire can fuck off. Left back might be okay. Definitely need a DM.
Maguire's the captain of Man United as well, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that for much longer, mate.
He's a captain. I didn't even go over to stop the fight, man.
Paul,
still-
he's the captain under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I'm not defending Harry Maguire, by the way. I just mean the call for him to come out. But he really in an ideal situation he shouldn't be, should he? Because he's your captain at the end of the day.
No, but the thing is,
he's supposed to be the main part of the team. If you think about it, I know he isn't the best player in that team.
No, but I think that when a new manager comes in, I think Maguire may lose the captaincy because I don't think Maguire is a captain of Manchester United.
Quite possibly, he could go to Ronaldo even.
Well,
that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm thinking Ronaldo. I'm thinking De Gea. I'm thinking Bruno. They're three names that pop to me straight away. I think if you want to even look,
don't you? You need like if it had to be anyone, could think of
Bruno
Rashford.
is
have to be or Ronaldo.
Rashford's not a leader. Bruno is a leader. He's a leading part of that dressing room. Ronaldo is a definite leader, will lead by not only example, but lead with his words. And De Gea, I think, would lead by pure example. He's not much of a leader, but he would definitely lead by example. Now, what about
you've got different types of captains, haven't you? You've got loud, vocal captains. You've got fairly quiet captains that lead by example.
Yeah. But
I only put on Rashford in there because he's he's obviously mank brawn and bed and he's been part of the club for donkeys, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, I hear that. But Velvishwan, talk to me about it. How do you see it?
He obviously improved the quality around, get the best out of players. You start Donny more. I feel like Donny, similar to how he got the best out of Valverde, Real Madrid, do something similar with that. I feel like the only problem is it's basically the DM and the backline because they just need to find that right partnership because so far Maguire hasn't looked good at all. Luke Shaw, I don't know what's happened to him. AWP, he's shit. Everyone knows that. It's no debate. And Lindelof, he's half decent at certain times. I mean, he's a good distributor of the ball. For the last he's only strong point. But yeah, I feel like Zidane will just help them as far as they can until in the January they can hopefully sign that DM. I feel like once they get the DM, they could go properly challenge. I don't think they're ready to challenge yet.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're going to challenge. I think they could challenge for a Champions League. I see no reason why not. I think a Zidane probably wins them a Champions League. Let's be real.
They definitely have more the only reason why I wouldn't rule that out is because it's a knockout competition.
Well, yeah, and we all know that with Cristiano Ronaldo, he's definitely going to turn up in the Champions League game towards the end of it. And no, I think a new manager, his brief will be quite simple: win us an FA Cup or Champions League, and secure us top four this season alone. Then we'll sit down, discuss the summer and how we're going to do it. They'll already have ideas. A new manager probably is Zidane or something. It's probably going to be like, look, I want a DM in January and you're getting me a fucking DM in January.
Do you know what?
Not even
I probably an unpopular one with Kenny, but Ole last season finished, I'm pretty sure, where have you finished with Ole last couple? I know he's not. I know he's not. Well, second. I know he's not someone to like.
Pretty sure they got the same points.
He may lack that next step, but I mean he hasn't been absolute shambles as in terms of at the end of the day. At the end of the season, second place last season, runners up.
And you make it.
You know what I mean? I think fourth or third season ago.
You make a great point, and the reason you do is because a lot of United fans are talking of, look, Ole has killed the club, blah blah blah. look at what Ollie did when he took over at Manchester United. Jose had nearly killed your club. Let's be fair. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done an awful lot of positive things, and I think a lot of United fans are forgetting that, and they're forgetting that. Look, not all projects are done under one manager. I can think of many times, but Liverpool is a prime example. Liverpool is a prime example of a project taking two managers, because they had Brendan Rodgers, and he took them very far, took them to second, right? Almost won them the league. Then Jurgen Klopp comes in and takes them to that next step. He takes them to the league title. And a lot of people, I think, slam Ollie unnecessarily. Look, do I think it's time for Ollie to go? Absolutely. Do I think he's good enough? No. In terms of winning a league title, I don't think he's. And with the team he's got, I don't think he can manage them.
It's just annoying to see, like, as a neutral fan, it's annoying to see. Ollie out. You know, on Twitter and stuff like that. It's just like, think before you lash out. Because
he's done a lot of good, hasn't he?
Look at the facts. Look at the players. Statistics.
Don't mention the stats. Their defensive stats this year were shambles.
No, I mean overall, not okay. Defensive stats, but I mean,
but
as you say,
but no, you mentioned a good point. But also his recruitment has been almost spot on. Barring Wan-Bissaka and Maguire, which are classed as two massive.
Fernandes was a great signing. And
Bruno was an Ollie signing. Bringing through Greenwood. Getting in Cavani, bringing in Sancho. These all Varane. These all great signings. That
Chelsea's a prime example. Frank Lampard brought like for that. How long was it? 18 months. He brought the likes of Mason Mount in. He brought he slowly
Reece
brought
James.
in Reece James.
Tomori for certain bits.
Yeah, Tomori, Hudson Odoi. Tammy Abraham, they're all, and then Tuchel. Although, to be fair, the hard one, because I know the European champions obviously now, and I'd say challenging for the title. I thought it was unfair on Frank Lampard. To be fair, but Tuchel's took them that next step. I mean, even if they yet anyway, he's Premier League champions. He's already gone a very long way, winning them the Champions League. Because that's like arguably the pinnacle of world football. Never mind European.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Kenny, talk to me. Talk to me about what Ollie's done, and then talk to me about who you want to replace him. Because look, again, it's fine to say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reached his limit. That has happened with many managers. Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool, Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Simply, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't to the level of Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel. That is fine to say that. I think some of the abuse that Ole has got is way out of line. But we mustn't forget that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won Manchester United a Champions League trophy back in 1999. Or are we just conveniently forgetting arguably one of the biggest moments in United's history, if not the biggest, right? Where Sheringham and Solskjaer had won it, right? The famous commentary of that night is played even till today. Do you think that the abuse that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got, Kenny, has been far too much? Because I think there's being constructive about it, saying, look, I think Ole's taken United as far as he can. That's fine. The abuse, the onslaught of abuse that we've seen towards Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been, quite frankly, disgusting. Do you think that the abuse Ole's got has been too far?
I think it has. I think what Ole's done is he's done a good job for what he is. I think he's steadied the ship. He's brought in good players. He's got a squad to be on another level than it was when Jose left, and he is well and truly he nearly completed the rebuild that we needed once Jose went. He's nearly completed that, and then now he needs. I think he needs to go for our rebuild to be completed. But I think the abuse he's getting is uncalled for. I think he's our best manager since Fergie. I know he's not won a trophy, but he has done well. He has.
You were very close to winning the Europa League. I think people forget that as well. You were literally like I mean maybe not the final, but you were literally that close to. I'll say it about Sevilla. I'll say that about Athens in 2007. Yeah, maybe the overall game, but I mean he took us all the way to the final. It's like Jose Mourinho. Although he wasn't the right man for Tottenham,
Do you know what?
he took Tottenham to the League Cup final.
And I want to say something because there is precedent of this as well. Do you think that's what killed him? Do you think that's what's killed his time at United? Because ultimately, look at Poch at Spurs, got into a Champions League final, sacked after because he couldn't get them up again. Frank Lampard got to an FA Cup final, couldn't get the players back up again. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got to a Europa League final, couldn't get his players back up again. Do you think that getting to that final and losing is part of the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing today? Because do you think if United go on and win that cup final, there's such a buzz around Manchester United? Look, we won a trophy with Ollie. We can trust this man to bring back the glory days. Let's give him some time. Let's work with him continuously. Do you think that's probably been the also catching a bit, Valve? Cheers for coming on. Do you think that's the bits that has ended Ollie per se, getting to that final but not getting across the line? Kenny?
Oh, are you talking to me? I think you're talking to both.
Anyone, but we'll start with you, Kenny.
I think it was a big factor. I think once we did lose that, the morale, and we saw this with Spurs a few years ago as well. Exact same thing, except with the Champions League final. There was a Champions League final that had a meltdown, and then Pochettino was sacked. And I think the same thing's happened here, except it's a Europa League final. Also, there's been some news on Ollie just now, but I think it's the same thing that would happen to Spurs a few years ago, except you can tell we're really low morale this season. You can tell we're just. I think the only players really this season that you can tell have gone up from that final are De Gea. That's the only player. Everyone else is really low on morale. Apart from of course the signings because they weren't part of it.
Do you know what? Greenwood looked good at the start of the season. Before Ronaldo came in, Greenwood looked like he was on fire as well.
Actually, to be fair, yeah, that's a good point. Greenwood was good as well. Greenwood with De Gea, really, probably the only players that really bounced back from that Europa League final and have played really well this season. Everyone else was just low on morale, looked dead, awful. That were part of that Europa League final, of course. That's really been what stopped Ollie from really transforming this season and doing what everyone expected us to do, which is a title race and win the Champions League. And I think that is why. We see this happen a lot. Spurs is the most recent example. Well, that I can think of. Yeah, I think it killed Pochettino then, and it's gonna kill Solskjaer right now.
Yeah. No, you're right in my eyes. Paul, do you agree with that? That because Ollie got them so far or so close to a trophy, failed at last hurdle. Do you think that hangover, shall we say? And don't forget, obviously, Maguire and Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, also getting so close to glory with England, and then having that loss. Do you think that a combination of the two for this squad and then for the core English players? Do you think that would have brought a hangover into the season, which has meant that Ollie's job has been near on impossible?
Quite possibly, but it shows levels to pick up your players again. That's the massive quotes to get you through life. Experience, experience defines you, doesn't it? I mean, you have to fail to learn to get better. It's about the ability of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Gareth Southgate to be able to pick those players back up. Yeah, there could well be a hangover. I mean, if I lost the Europa League final and then lost the Euros final, I'd be absolutely devastated. But then my sole focus then would be focusing on the season. I mean, some games Man United have looked good, but then some games they've looked terrible, like they did on Sunday. But then there was games like against Villa and Everton where they just didn't really look on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's we won't know the full reason, but it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. No, 100%. Mickey, and we say Conor Grant at Plymouth Argyle. Let's talk about that. Absolutely. United are full of too many individuals. There is no balance. They are not players that will put the work in. They want it easy. They will spit their dummies out. They are throwing Ollie under the bus. Quality players like them arguably don't even need a manager. I would agree.
By the way.
Nice. I'd agree in terms of the likes of Ronaldo, the likes of possibly even Bruno don't need a manager. I think the rest of them do. I think Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, but anyone in that midfield and that entire back line needs a manager, needs coaching. The press yesterday was one of the things that got me. United's press. What in God's green earth is Bruno Fernandes doing pressing Alisson?
Niall, just highlight those comments again for me, just so I can have a proper look.
So United are full of too many individuals. There is no balance. They are not players that will put the work in. They want it easy.
See, they are full of individuals, Mikey, definitely. I don't know whether they want it easy. I have seen them work. I mean, I have seen them at times play as a team. Yeah, you're probably right in saying that there isn't much balance.
Yeah,
it's too many individuals, but I don't think they exactly want it easy.
The balance I think is right if Bruno Fernandes isn't trying to mark the goalkeeper. So ultimately, this goes down to one thing: what is Bruno Fernandes doing marking a goalkeeper? Why is he pressing Alisson? What's he going? Does he think Alisson is just going to crumble because Bruno Fernandes is running at him, or do you think he's just going to pass it to either side of him, Bruno of Trent and Robbo? And then Ronaldo trying to press Virgil van Dijk. Like, are we serious right now? Are we serious? Like, you are going against the most composed defense in English football, right? Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Trent. Okay, could probably be pressed. Robbo, maybe. Konate definitely could, but Konate looked quite comfortable, and I doubt Alisson's going to put.
I was really impressed with Konate yesterday. I thought he had a brilliant game. I mean, I reckon a lot of Liverpool fans weren't expecting him to start, but he's shown class. He's shown class against a defense. He's shown class against an attack, such as Ronaldo, such as Bruno Fernandes, such as Rashford, such as who was on the right, Greenwood. I was impressed with him. I'd like to see him. Okay, maybe he won't start on Wednesday, but I'd like to see him now against Brighton on Saturday. Yeah.
No, he did look very composed, but Kenny, do you think that's the thing, that there is a balance in the squad? If Bruno, the prime example is looking at United at Atalanta. First half, again, Bruno Fernandes is trying to press goalkeepers, which is just going to not work. It's just going to wear yourself out, to be honest with you. Then in the second half, he drops a bit deeper. He starts linking up a little bit more with Fred and Pogba, McTominay, Pogba, whoever it was. And there was a little bit more of a balance. That's how essentially how the 4-2-3-1 works, right? That 10 needs to link the two, right? You link the midfield with the attack. That is what his job is to do. Do you think that Bruno is partly to cause, and then do you think that's a coaching problem? Do you think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying, I need you to press? Or do you think that's just Bruno Fernandes not having a clue what he's doing? And he's just like, I'm going to press, I'm going to run, I'm going to try and win the ball back, wearing himself out, leaving gaps in that midfield. Because there was moments yesterday where your midfield was Fred. I'm not even joking. When your midfield was Fred on his own with 3 Liverpool players around him. That is part of the problem, is it?
Our press was brilliant yesterday. As you say then, Niall, there was players coming in every direction.
Yeah.
It was relentless. I was made up. It just like that is Klopp's team.
Yeah, but Kenny, what about you? Do you agree with that? Do you think Bruno is partly responsible for this? Because how many times when one leaves a position, especially if you play a low block or a mid block, when one vacates their position to go press something, you're leaving a gap. Now that gap needs to be filled. Now I don't think there's an idea or a structure around your press. It seems so off the cuff. I mean, for example, if Bruno presses, McTominay or Fred need to fill that gap, right? And then one of your centre-backs needs to drop a little bit in. You need to press as a team. Greenwood needs to drop it in. If the ball's on the left-hand side, Greenwood needs to drop into the Bruno role if he's gone to press someone. If it's on the right-hand side, Rashford needs to come in. Shaw needs to do something. Wan-Bissaka, you need to press as a unit. You look at Liverpool, if Salah or Mane or Firmino misses the press, let's say they press at the wrong time, right? The trigger point, there's normally a trigger point for a press, isn't there? For example, you get to the left back or you get to the right back, that's when you press. You get to a midfielder, that's when you press. If, let's say, Salah presses too early, the rest of the other 10 players aren't crumbling because Salah's pressed a bit too early or he's pressed a little too late, right? There's someone covering him. Milner will come in, right? Hendo will come in. Trent will come in. Do you think that there's a bigger tactical problems at Old Trafford and at Manchester United? Because you've spent so long being a counter-attacking team, which you have been for most of the time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To whereas you look now, you're trying to press teams out of possession, which has not been something Ole has done at all. So do you think that's a coaching problem that Ole's just decided, right, we're going to start pressing, which if that's the case, he's stupid, dumb, and need to leave quite quickly? Or do you think this is the players going, look, Ole doesn't know what he's doing, we're going to start pressing? And ultimately, that has led to the downfall of the last couple of games.
I think it's a coaching problem. I've seen this group of players a lot of the time. I think mainly it's Ole's fault. I think with what Mikey's saying about how Liverpool City, they know their job, United are lazy. I think it's because we don't really know our job. But Ole just said we have to start pressing. I think what's happened is Ole's seen that we have Ronaldo. He's seen that we have Ronaldo, and he's thinking, oh, we need to start pressing. We need to stop counter-attacking because we have Ronaldo, so we can just stop pressing, pass the ball to him.
Does Ronaldo press though?
And Paul, I'm so glad you said that because that is exactly what I was about to say. Ronaldo is not. If Ronaldo was the trigger point for Ole to start pressing football, bad move.
He isn't comply. He isn't obliged to, is he?
No,
in any team that he's been in.
There is no way Cristiano Ronaldo is going to start pressing. He's not Firmino, right?
Any team he walks into, I'd imagine he expects to be the centre of everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So
he has been at Real Madrid, at Juventus,
he expects it.
But at United, you technically can't be. Because you've got all these other quality players around you. You can't. That's the only thing I could have said about having Ronaldo in the United side. You can't. You can't now focus everything on him. There's so much potential in the side to be able to
I would argue that if you want
so much more.
If you want a pressing striker or a pressing attacker, you put Cavani on. Right? If you want a presser, Cavani is your guy. But if Ronaldo was the trigger point of Ole's gonna, if Ole's brought in Ronaldo and gone, right, now we need to start pressing, that is arguably the biggest tactical error I've ever seen in my life. Right? Because with Ronaldo, what you want to do is you want to get him the ball. Now, you're not going to do that by pressing because you haven't. Greenwood is not going to press. Well, he might do if he's coached it. He hasn't been coached pressing. Rashford isn't going to press. He's actually quite.
You have to instill it in your players, don't you?
You do.
Like every single day,
and
like Jurgen Klopp's Gegenpressing. pressing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Press. If you're going to talk like that, you don't presses effectively.
Exactly, and this press hasn't been instilled into a team, has it? It's been, they play counter-attacking football. They play mid-blocks, low blocks, and it's worked to a degree to where they are right now. There does need to be a change. I think you're going to need to get a new manager. Okay, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking at Ronaldo and then thinking it's time to start pressing, you have made the biggest calamity of errors I've ever seen in my life. As anyone could tell you, Cristiano Ronaldo pressing isn't something you use in the same sentence. Mickey says, for me, as to balance off, you have 2-3 who will press, then you have the soft midfield and McTominay Fred. Don't produce solid midfield, leaving the defence exposed. Half the time, the midfield's exposed. Half the time, Fred or McTominay is exposed by Bruno. Maguire's captain, there's no talking or guidance to the other players. He's creating mistakes. Short and Wan-Bissaka look lost. I again completely agree. Look at Liverpool City. They press as a team and you see the recent success. They all know their job. United, they are lazy. Again, I agree. The other opposite is Chelsea don't press. Chelsea ain't a pressing team. They're not going to press you out of possession. They sit deep. They do mid blocks.
I mean, they do.
Low blocks.
I've seen a few games where Chelsea have pressed and they've pressed effectively. I mean, maybe not every single game. I mean, the likes of against Norwich, you don't press, do you? But I've seen games where you took it to us. The Chelsea game at Anfield took it to us.
Yeah, but they are known for low blocks, mid blocks, and all of this. But look at the players they have. They played for, managers have played for. They can't have basic stuff. There's so many things you would expect, but they just don't do it. Ronaldo has to play. That's why he was brought in. But by rights, he doesn't fit into Ole's system in a way his hands are tied.
Exactly. Do you know what? Exactly, Mikey.
I would agree. Ronaldo.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Ronaldo doesn't fit into the system, which is why I always thought getting Ronaldo was a complete.
It's not a tactical transfer, is it? It's a great transfer in terms of the quality that he brings into the team.
And this has been my point about Manchester United from the start. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the biggest problem. It's the owners.
No.
Hello, by the way.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the biggest problem right now at Manchester United because the owners, whilst they're dumb fucks, they I'm not about to start praising the Glazers. They have spent money and Ole has got a team there. Anyone in their right mind knows exactly how to play a Ronaldo. You tell him to sit in the number 9 role and we'll get you the ball. Like that is how any normal football manager with Ronaldo will say, Ronaldo, just go sit up top. We'll get you the ball. Don't start pressing.
Think about how much quality is in that team, and then you get told. I'm not saying this is exactly what Ole's saying to his team, but imagine being someone like Greenwood, Fernandes, and just being told, "Oh, just knock it to Ronaldo." It'd be fuming, wouldn't it? What about me?
It's not just that. I think
I just mean that from like this scenario. I'm not saying that happened,
many
but
individuals of the team.
The element. The bit I would say is you would tell Ronaldo, go up top, sit up there, we'll get you the ball. You still tell the likes of Greenwood, look, I still want you cutting in. I still want you having a shot every now and again because you've still got that quality to score. And the same with Bruno. But you tell your wing backs, don't know if Wan-Bissaka's even got a cross on him, but we'll see. You probably drop Luke Shaw, if I'm being completely honest, and you play Alex Telles. Because Alex Telles can deliver what I call a cross. And what does Ronaldo...
Telles existed.
I know, right?
What's
Ronaldo going to live for? Crosses. He's going to live for a cross in the box. He's going to love it when you can get him across. So you have to adapt to Ronaldo, and Ole simply hasn't done that. Alex Telles needs to come into the squad. Shaw looks completely off it. Looks way off it.
It wasn't
way off it. And this is the thing.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can like going back onto management skills, can he handle can he handle a massive presence in
and
Ronaldo?
the simple answer to that question, Paul, is no. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't handle it because he's already proven so. Because anyone with a half a brain of football knowledge will tell you, you play Alex Telles on the left, you tell Greenwood to still cut in, you probably drop Rashford for Sancho because you need creators, you need people who can link. You probably drop one of your midfielders.
The quality in that United side, honestly,
I know, right? When you've got
there's so much quality, but
dropped,
it's about getting it into a system. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even
but
you
then
just
if
say,
Rashford gets dropped,
Fernandes,
does then-
Sancho. It's such a glamorous team. They just need a way of working it.
Yeah,
I think the problem with the quality side then is you're going to get the people like your Rashfords, etc., complaining about game time if you drop him for
but
the
he's
likes
been
of
injured.
Sancho.
He's been injured. So the conversation is ridiculously easy of Rashford. Hi, so you've been injured. We're trying out Sancho. You'll rotate with Sancho. Or we'll work it out. The thing is, there is an embarrassment of riches at United. There's an embarrassment of talent. And they need to fix it. They need to work a way around it. Now, when you've got someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, you work a way of getting him the ball in the box. The best way to do that is by playing Sancho, who's creator, on the left-hand side, because in my opinion, Greenwood has been better than what Rashford has done in 2 games. Greenwood's been insane. You work on the link up between Greenwood and Ronaldo, which you can already start to see. I saw it again yesterday. You're starting to see, the blossoms of a link up between the two of them. It takes time. It's a new partnership that takes time. But you play Alex Telles. You put crosses in the box for Ronaldo. Similar with Cavani. Cavani would love a cross in the box, and Greenwood can also cross a ball. So the thing is, you need to talk and you need to get the players believing in what you want to do. Right? If you want to get Ronaldo the ball, you tell the players, look, Greenwood, I need you to do a mixture. I need you to get to the byline, put a cross in, back post, or wherever Ronaldo may be in the box. We need to work on that. We need to get that understanding. Then you say, Telles, I want you to do the same. Sancho, I want you linking up, passing that ball, get Ronaldo a ball to feet. Then you say, Bruno, your job is not to start doing 20-yard weldies. I want you getting the ball to Ronaldo. And every player in that team has a role and a specific thing that they need to do.
It's just the basics of football. I don't think they're doing the basics.
No, these aren't basics. These are not basics. These are now we're starting to what we're talking about. We're talking about an sort of in-depth intellectual thought process on how to get the best out of a team. These are not basics. A basic is me saying, Mason Greenwood, you're playing right wing today. That's the basic, right? Because that's your job. That's your job role. What we're now talking about now is we're talking about the way that we want them to play, the tactical mindset of each player and what we want them to do. Right? By saying to Mason Greenwood, I want you to do a mixture of cutting in on your left foot and shooting, but I also want you to do a mixed up with getting to the byline and whipping in across for Rashford, for Ronaldo. These are intellectual parts. I mean, it's very difficult to say these are simplistic parts of the game because they're not simplistic. You're talking about quite a comprehensive tactical plan and tactical analysis of United. And these are things that Ollie should have been doing. I just don't think Ollie's quite doing it, really.
I really wanted Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to succeed because I think in the long term, no matter what club he's at, I think he could have been a brilliant manager with the players that he had around him. But he's just when it comes to the big moments, I don't think he has the tactical announce.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a brilliant manager for an Everton. He's an Everton-style manager. He's a mid-table manager at best, right? That is the best he can do, right? And that's not me slamming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've seen it many times.
I thought the same about David Moyes. I thought Everton was his best level.
That sounds more like slamming Everton, calling them a mid-table team. But, I mean, I can't complain about that. Like,
to be fair, Paul, what have Everton done in the last 10 years to suggest anything but a mid-table?
Apart from building a new stadium.
That's not again, that's not even on the pitch. The thing is that there's a lot of things that, and each manager has their limitations. I think the best manager of recent years is David Moyes. He's a fantastic manager for a West Ham, who at now are pushing to be top 6. Right?
West Ham
He's
are
a
a brilliant club at the moment.
great manager for that. So Ollie's
I'll have to
very
agree
much the
with that,
same.
mate.
He's not a top 4 club. He's not a top 4 manager. There is no way he is sitting at a table with Pep, Klopp, or Tuchel. He's sitting just below that. He's sitting in the mid-table section, the Europa League section. This is the situation where Ollie is. Right? His limitations are, at best he'll get this club top 4. He won't win them anything because, as you've said, his tactical abilities in the big moments have always left a lot to be desired for. And simply put, that is the problem at United.
But again, I'll also reiterate that other point as well. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is only good to get United top 4, and I think the reason the Glazers got him in the first place is because I think the Glazers are happy with just top 4 because they get the money every year.
So the reason that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hired by United was not only because he went on a bloody good run when he was caretaker manager, and Ed Woodward didn't have the balls to hang out till the end of the season, then he'd have seen the almighty drop off that you saw that season. Yeah. He's also he is sort of like a sort of bullet shield. He's sort of like the thing in front of the board, because United fans are going to, especially inside the stadium, are going to find it very difficult, as Paul has suggested, to turn on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because of everything he has done for that club, for the shit that he's won, for the 99 final alone. Makes it very difficult to criticise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Makes it very difficult to go Ole out inside and boo him, right? Because he is that nice guy. He's the baby assassin. They remember him for his footballing ability. Now comes a point where
you can openly express that you want to manage it out without booing them and shouting Ollie out, Ollie out, Ollie out. If it's a case of the owners don't want rid of him, but the fans do, obviously the Ollie out stuff I don't understand. But I mean, if the player in the if the players or the managers have the right intentions at heart and are doing their best for the club, it could be Jurgen Klopp, it could be Roy Hodgson. I'd still appreciate and respect the manager because they're doing all what's best. If there's visible red flags about that manager or player, I won't respect them as much, and I would be more not as vocal, but not in obviously. Not in a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not in a more kind of way, if you like.
Yeah. I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing this job with an arm tied behind his back, because I don't think the Glazers are doing. Ronaldo was a PR spin signing. We all knew that. It was to get the merchandise.
Was there a protest, by the way, at United?
No,
I don't know whether you were at the game or.
Nah, there was no protest.
Was there no protest?
So you're telling me that you're telling me with Varane, Sancho, Greenwood, Rashford, Bruno, Cavani, minimum, that he's doing it with one hand tied behind his back?
I think there were PR signs to get merchandise into the Glazers.
What, Sancho's a PR signing, so you can't see any. You can't see. One minute. Shut up. Right, so you're telling me you can't see a single bit of talent inside Jadon Sancho?
I'm not saying a bit of talent, but I think Sancho last year.
Answer me, do you see talent in Sancho?
I do see talent in Sancho,
Do you see talent in Raphael Varane?
Yeah.
Do you see it in Cavani?
Yeah.
Greenwood?
Well, he's homegrown talent, yeah.
Rashford?
I see some talent when he's not injured, he can recover.
Right, so
Sancho was a year late.
So
Varane
it doesn't matter. Hold on. It doesn't matter when he arrives. Right? He could arrive in 2024. It doesn't matter when he arrives.
The fans wanted him and they want to get the fans back on side.
Ronaldo
was a PR spin.
Okay, so either you're dumb, and I mean fucking.
There's something behind each and every signing.
Either you're thick as 2 planks of wood, to be completely honest with you, or you're struggling to understand the basics of a transfer, because you're telling me that Raphael Varane was just because the fans wanted him.
I believe the Glazers wanted the fans on side.
So hold on. Tell me what differences you see of Raphael Varane and Victor frickin' Lindelof. I'd love to know them.
Well, Victor Lindelof
Ronaldo as well.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
I mean, the commercial advantage of having Ronaldo.
Well, to be fair, when Lindelof was signed a few years back, the fans did want him at that point. So I thought the Glazers were thinking,
tell me the differences tactically and the attributes that Varane has different to Lindelof.
Overall, I think Varane has a more complete player about him. I think he's a more complete player. There's less of an error in him than Lindelof. I think, again, with Lindelof, like a few years back when he was signed, I think that the fans at the time wanted Lindelof. And the Glazers were like, let's screw with the fans and try and get back on side. Same again.
Are you saying that Varane improves that United defence?
It improves him a little bit, but you still got Aaron Maguire next to him.
This man, right? So he improves. He also has a shit ton of pace. He's a quick centre back as well, which is something that Lindelof does not have. So he improves that defence. So do you think that would have been Ollie? And we could clearly see last year there was clearly an issue at that back line. Do you not think that they've targeted Varane as an improvement on Lindelof?
I'm not saying it's not an improvement on Lindelof.
So thank you. Excellent. No. What you're doing is you're doing the same thing you do all the time, which is just attack the Glazers and have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I just don't get it, really. The Ronaldo one, I'll agree. That was just complete PR, and that was to make money. But the rest of them, Sancho was to improve Manchester United.
Sancho was a year late.
It doesn't matter if it's a year late or not. Did they get Sancho?
Eventually, but it was too little too late. They should have got him in sooner.
It doesn't matter when he comes. He is here now. He improves that squad, right? They bring in Varane because they had a problem in their defence that they needed to sort. They sorted it. They brought in Ronaldo. Yeah, that was just PR spin. Sancho is a very good player who's very gifted, who improves that team. It doesn't matter if he's a year late or not. He improves that team.
Oh yeah,
there's no deny. There's no change in that. The thing is, just by attacking the Glazers, just shows the limited ability to hold a conversation about football. To be completely honest,
the thing about Raphael Varane, the thing about Raphael Varane, I've explained this. I must have explained this before. The thing about Raphael Varane is, I feel like that back line needs to be improved even before they were targeting Raphael Varane. I think that Harry Maguire wasn't enough, Lindelof wasn't enough, Bayer wasn't enough. I think that Varane is a great improvement in that back line. But again, at least they got him in, but it was probably 4 or 5 years.
But yours
only have Valencia.
So you're sat there saying that Varane was brought in because they wanted to get the fans on board when you've just said that he's actually improved their defence a lot. It doesn't matter if the fans are against the Glazers. The Glazers. So you're telling me that every signing Manchester United have made in their history under Glazers just been because the fans want them in?
Not every signing, no, because there were some signings that actually.
So why is every signing that they bought this summer just because fans wanted them?
It wasn't just this summer. Bruno Fernandes happened about 6 months too late.
Oh my God.
Bruno Fernandes wasn't a PR signing. I'll tell you for sure. You know.
That signing was 6 months too late. That should have happened in the summer.
Still.
The timing of transfers do not matter. Sometimes you can't get your man, right? So you're telling me Manchester United signed Sancho.
Van Dijk, we were going to get Van Dijk in the summer. Didn't end up getting him until. I think it was January.
That's a shit signing, Paul, because you got him too late. Absolutely shit signing. The thing is, right? Sancho, the year before, would have cost £120 million. They got him for 68. So they have saved £52 million and have not been, basically, tipped upside down and had the change shaken out of their trousers for Sancho. So in actual fact, you could say that any normal club goes, this is the limit we have for spending on a player. Right, the limit for United for Sancho was £100 million last year. Dortmund wanted more than that. United said, We won't do. We'll come back in a year's time and it'll be cheaper. They've
You
come
know
back
what?
in
Fair
years.
enough. Sancho was a bargain. I'll give you that. Sancho was a bargain.
Oh my lord, you! So you change your opinion that quickly?
How
At least,
split for-
at least with Kenny, he'll fight to the hill and back for his opinion. I mean, so we've
I'm
got
not changing my
that
opinion,
one.
but I'm sort of taking your point and saying fair enough. I'll hold my hands up. Sancho was a bargain.
Sancho was done the right way because any normal club wouldn't overspend on their players. Varane, United.
I think that back line should have been improved long before it got to this.
It doesn't matter because United identified the 3 positions that they needed. Right, Ollie had identified right wing, centre defence, and a DM. Right, those are the 3 that Ollie had.
And a striker in case Cavani left.
No. At the time after Europa League final, when they sat down to discuss what they needed for the transfer window, Ollie and Manchester United identified 3 positions: right wing, centre back, DM.
Yeah.
They got in the right winger of Jadon Sancho, and it was in that order as well. Right wing was the most priority. They bring in Sancho. Then Raphael was available because he was going into his last year of his contract, not looking to sign a new contract to Real Madrid. Manchester United thought that's a fantastic option for them. They went and signed Raphael Varane, which makes a lot of sense. Then, instead of getting the DM, Ronaldo became available. Manchester United brought in Ronaldo, and I will agree that one was done wrong, and shouldn't have been brought in because
I think from a rival's point of view, Ronaldo being snatched at the last hour from City's noses was actually quite sweet for rivals, but I think it was probably a PR spin, that signing.
It was a PR spin. It was to generate money, but every signing that United, Bruno Fernandes, as Paul mentioned, that was not a PR signing. Manchester United have been scouting him for God knows how many months.
I didn't say that was a PR signing. I still think that was 6 months too late.
It doesn't matter if it's Liverpool picked up Virgil van Dijk about 6 months too late.
I think that's what
this isn't FIFA, you know. You can't just go, I want Bruno Fernandes, I'm getting him this summer, sorted. Sometimes there's a barrier.
I'm not saying that.
And you have to put in your date
times where the club could have. I think there was times during the Bruno Fernandes over the summer where the club could have fought a bit harder to get Bruno done in the summer. Maybe they want to do it in January.
Maybe they just wanted to do it in January. Maybe there was a barrier put in the way that meant they couldn't do it in the summer.
It just makes me think what would have happened in those 6 months before January if they got Bruno in the summer.
Probably not an awful lot because do United still win the title? No. Yeah, they probably get top 4.
City and Liverpool were headlines.
They probably get top 4. Yeah, cool. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, they would have got top 4 because City and Liverpool were still headlights.
Yeah, shit happens. Sometimes you don't get the signings you want at the times you want. This isn't Football Manager or FIFA where you can just go buy the players straight away. There are other things that are put in place that prevent you, that do stop it. I think the United signings that they made mostly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been good signings. Only Ronaldo is the one that I look at going, that was a big mistake.
That was a Glazer signing, in my opinion.
And Maguire, yeah, probably way too much.
Maguire was a waste of money. I've always said that from day one. He's a waste of money.
But the thing is, to just attack the Glazers and say they're the biggest problem is just farcical, really. When clearly, if you've been watching Manchester United over the last 4 or 5 months, like the rest of us have, and you actually, understand what Ollie and that is doing, you'll see that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the biggest problem at Manchester United at the moment.
I'm not saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't a problem. I just think that the Glazers need to understand. I think Ed Woodward's staying on past December, apparently, according to reports.
Smart move.
Really?
Yes. They are about to embark on a brand new manager. There is no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is surviving after this point in time.
I'd give him till Christmas.
Keeping Ed Woodward, right, to oversee and keep things consistent up in the boardroom whilst you're instilling a brand new manager is the smartest move there is in world football. Do you want to know the amount of shit that will go on if you're bringing in a new chief executive with a brand new manager? Two people learning the club at the same time in the two most important roles at that club. That is a madness. That is bonkers. That is absolutely bonkers. I mean, the chief executive is the single-handedly one of the most important roles in a football club, right? You may not like Ed Woodward, and no one really does. The second most important is your manager. Ed Woodward staying on till April to oversee, to keep that consistency in the boardroom whilst you're getting a new manager in, smartest move you can make. Because you don't want to be replacing your chief executive and your manager at the same time. What happened when a certain David Gill and a Sir Alex Ferguson left at the same time? Oh yes, United finished 7th. 7th. Because you had David Moyes and Ed Woodward learning the roles at the exact same time, and it went completely tits up. United have learned from that. Paul, do you think Ed Woodward staying to April is that big a deal? Is that something that United fans should be concerned about, or is it smart when you're embarking on a new manager coming
in? What do you mean about a new manager coming? Like,
right, so Ed Woodward obviously resigned and is working out his notice. He was meant to leave in December. There is now talks that Ed Woodward is going to stay till April. Obviously, the main reason for that is because within the next couple of weeks.
Has he not officially left?
No, he's working his notice period. So he's working his period of notice.
Oh, I get yeah.
And he was meant to leave in December, but they're pushing it back to April because obviously, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to stay for the rest of the season, you can let Ed Woodward go in December because you just bring in a new chief exec. Your manager's still staying the same. The fact that Ole looks like he's probably on his way out, what they're doing is they're going to keep Ed Woodward till April just for the consistency of how United is being run and all of that. Do you think that's a smart move instead of getting both of them leaving?
Yeah, no. When it's put like that, definitely, yeah. Because as you said about Moyes and Woodward's learning the same roles at the same time, tits up, yeah. I get you, yeah. I mean, you've got to have someone experienced to kind of help you along the way while you're first getting to grips with your new team. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a smart move for United.
Yeah. What about you?
I know he might not be the most liked character.
Yeah.
But
he knows
United.
the job.
I know that, but
yeah.
I'd say all in all, if it was Liverpool with like a scout, like a director that I didn't really like, and we were in this position, I'd understand it. Like, yeah, I might not be necessarily happy that he's staying on, but if it's for the best of the club and it's for the best of the new manager, then sure, yeah. I mean, smart move.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct there, Kenny. You're a United fan, obviously. I'm guessing Ed Woodward isn't one of your most favourite people in the world. Do you think that keeping Ed Woodward till April is a smart move whilst you go through this transition?
I think it's a smart move. Yes, I think it is. What's needed to be done. And I think, I mean, honestly, I'm not happy about it, considering this Ed Woodward. I don't like him. I think it is the smartest move and what we should do, based on what's happening. Of course, the board never expected to have to sack Ole, so it was fine to leave it. But I think to keep that consistency going, as basically what you said, basically what you said, that is my exact thoughts on it. I'm not angry about it. I'm not gonna have a rant about it. Oh, Woodward staying. Wow, I'm so angry. No, I'm not gonna have that. Also, Aaron, that update is 15 minutes old. So, yeah, I think it is what it is. It has to be done, basically. It's to keep. It has to be done. Basically.
I mean, Woodward's going anyway, but.
Yeah, no, he is, and it's just smart. It's smart keeping someone who knows how the club is, and look, I'm not here to talk about if the club is run well. That's a completely different topic, and that's a discussion for a different stream. But in terms of someone who knows how Manchester United is being operated right now, with the new manager coming in, that is the smartest thing since sliced bread. Because I tell you now, right, if a new chief comes in with Ollie, that's fine. Ollie knows what he's doing. He knows how the club's been run. He's been there for 2.5, 3 years, right? New manager coming in hasn't got a fucking Scooby-Dooby-Doo what is going on at Manchester United. He has absolutely no idea who his players are, apart from if Zidane came in, who knows Varane and Ronaldo, and probably a bit of Paul Pogba. So he's going to have to learn. And don't forget, if you bring in a new manager, I'm pretty sure you're going to be bringing in new coaches as well, because they're part of the problem. So there's going to be so much upheaval if a new manager comes in. To top that off with a brand new chief executive coming in would be the biggest car crash I've ever seen in my life. It will probably be even worse than the car crash that we saw with, actually, arguably it wouldn't be as bad as Ed Woodward, David Moyes, because that was the epitome of a car crash in terms of how not to replace two people at the same time. But ultimately, keeping Ed Woodward till April is not the worst idea. It's an extra 4 months. He's going to work an extra 4 months where he's just going to be there to understand what, to help the new manager settle in. Maybe, and he's not even in charge of transfers. They have that given to someone new. They have John Myrtle and Darren Fletcher who's doing that job there. So essentially, whilst there's just all this upheaval at Manchester United, Ed Woodward is just going to stay just to keep things ticking over until April, and then he'll go and I think it's going to be Arnold or whatever his name is, who's going to come in and take over the reins. It's actually a smart move from the Glazers, and again, just showing how maybe they are slowly starting to change how they operate. I'll tell you if the Glazers have changed, because if the Glazers have changed, they won't bring in Conte. If the Glazers have changed, they're bringing in Ten Hag or Zidane. If they bring in one of those two, I'll argue that maybe the Glazers are slowly starting to change. You may need to give them a little bit more time, especially for the fact that no one's going to buy Manchester United at the moment. But there's so bringing in Conte, Glazers haven't changed a single bit, because that's just the wrong manager for the wrong squad for the wrong vision. And
that's what I mean with Antonio Conte. I see why people are like, oh, Conte's won a Premier League, let's get him in. I sit there like, Conte, what he will do and the way he plays, he will rip up what Ollie's squad's been building and the way they've been playing. So it's starting all over again with a brand new cycle. And it's just not going to achieve success.
That is why I've said, if Manchester United bring in Conte, the Glazers haven't changed a single iota. They bring in a Zidane or a Ten. If they get a Ten Hag in, boy, this club really has changed.
You need to get a manager in that's going to take Ollie's style and ramp it up. But again, if Ollie stays, I think he will. I've got a feeling that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't get sacked until at least Christmas.
Ollie is not staying. There is no way physically.
I just think we've got too much trust in him.
Aaron.
The media giving him a lot of hope as well.
There is no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stays past Man City. No chance.
If he loses the derby like he did at Liverpool, he's got to go.
No, he's gone already. He is gone already. He's not even taking training tomorrow. He's gone already. It's just not been announced yet. But look, we're going to wrap it up there. We've got more chat where we'll be talking about Manchester United again at 11:30 for the Late Show. I'll be joined this time by Matt. If you want to join, the link is going to be in the chat. We're going to be talking about what has happened over the last coming days and what we expect to see happen in the coming days and weeks at Manchester United. As you can imagine, Manchester United is the buzzword at the moment. Everything is revolving around that club because they are a complete mess. Everyone forgetting that Liverpool did just win a derby 5-0. I think a lot of people are just completely forgotten about that. Paul doesn't mind talking about United because I think he finds it remotely funny.
Do you know? I understand the pain and the hardship right now, but at the same time, up the Reds. You know what I mean?
If Liverpool Football Club can find the Mo Salah of League One, tell him to give us a call because we need him.
I
But you-
think
Surely they would let the Scouse know who's a Liverpool fan, who's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
close to Jurgen Klopp. Surely that would make more sense.
Either way, give us a call. We need someone.
Well, no, I
Eh,
think you're
I'll-
complete.
I'll-
I think
I'll-
you're
I'll see.
completely. I think you're completely missing the point, considering Ryan Lowe and Jurgen Klopp are actually ridiculously close. In fact, I believe Ryan Lowe has met Jurgen many a times. Jurgen actually rang up, seeing if they had got promoted under Bowie. So he's got links with Jurgen, and I'm pretty sure if there was a Mo Salah of League One, I'm pretty sure Plymouth Argyle and Ryan Lowe are going to be the first to know, especially considering our director of football used to manage the England Academy. But there are levels to our infrastructure. But we are going to wrap it up there. We'll be back in about 40 minutes with the Late Late Show, me and Matt. As I say, it is open to everyone. We're going to be talking about it's going to be more United as this stream has been. Normal service resumes on Wednesday, by the way. Actually, we're doing Liverpool press and don't know when it is. Wednesday, I think. Don't know what game it is tomorrow. Probably end up doing a watch along, maybe. We'll see. I don't know what is going on.
Chris says in the comments you can have Ben Woodburn. Is Ben Woodburn any good?
No. No.
I think
see him.
You need to sack Woe.
No good games on tomorrow. We'll be back, as I say, for them. But before you go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Big thanks to everyone who has commented in the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. Hit that like button as well. But before you do go, Kenny, where can they find you?
You can find me at KennyB210 on Twitter. You'll have to request it. But of course, my account was suspended. Kenny TV on YouTube and Completely United find it on Twitch.
Perfect. Aaron, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Aaron_Challoner, Instagram at Aaron Challoner Official, YouTube Pro Football, DRFC, and goes to Chal. Obviously, I'm going to be at the Keepmoat Stadium tomorrow to see us play Cambridge, so I'm really excited to see if we can get 2 wins on the bounce for the first time this season. And just to end it from me, Fabrizio Romano, nearly half an hour ago, no doubt on Conte's decision since
We've already. Well, mate, you don't need to read any of that out because we've discussed what's been said by Conte already. You need to tune into the whole show because we actually discussed Conte and everything that was being said. Romano's just tapped that in because we spoke about that at the start of the show.
Fair enough.
Cool.
But overall, I can't wait for Cambridge tomorrow and should be interesting to see if we can get 2 wins consecutively on the bounce. Wellings up the army, are we?
So, Paul, where can they find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter at PaulRachelFC, and then from there you can find I've got links there for my articles on the Anfield Wrap and the Copite. And stay tuned for hopefully tomorrow because I've got a little exciting piece on a little preview for the Preston game on Wednesday night, which will be coming out on the Anfield Wrap. So,
Nice.
stay tuned for that. I'd really appreciate it if you give that a read once it's out and all that. And it's like, yeah,
100%. Make sure you do that. I actually do read your articles, because I actually I've put you in with. It's quite funny. I've put you in with the journalists on my
have you
thing. Yeah, I've chucked you in with you're in esteemed company. Fabrizio Romano, Manchester Evening News.
Appreciate
I
that.
use it
Honestly,
I use it
really
for the
nice one.
transfers. So yeah, I read them when they come out. Always a good read. Kenny, you should start doing it for United. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I've got more United journalists than I care to imagine. But yeah, make sure you do that for Paul. We'll be back, as I say, in just under 40 minutes with the Late Late Show, talking again, as you predicted, all things United. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching and peace out.